What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about international flights. Well, really just passports. So, just became, a citizen a couple of weeks ago, and I had to get my passport because I was traveling. But as you know, the passport process usually takes about 3 months to get your passport, and then sometimes when you go fill it out, they tell you, it might take longer than 3 months. But I was able to get my passport in 1 day, and I'm just gonna lay out the framework for you to let you know this method is 100% foolproof. I had another friend that did it as well. He actually did it first and told me about it, and then I went through it. So just became a citizen, got my certificate of naturalization. I didn't even have my license at the time, so and I had a flight to Dominican Republic, leaving probably in like a week, and I needed to, get my passport. I didn't have anything at the time. I needed to get my passport so I could fly out, because obviously you need an international passport to fly out of the U.S. You can't use your regular ID. So I Googled how to get your passport in 24 hours. A 1-800 number came up, which I'm gonna put on the screen right here for you to see. This particular number is pretty much all you need. So you will call this number. Obviously, you have to have a flight already booked. If you have a flight already booked, this method is gonna be 100% foolproof, like I said. But once you have your flight already booked, you call the number. So it's a 1-800 number. You call them, they're gonna ask for your appointment time. They're gonna ask for your travel date. If it's less than 14 days, you can go ahead and set an appointment to get your passport. If you're traveling more than 14 days, it has to be within 14 days. It doesn't have to be like an emergency or anything like that. It could just be like a regular vacation, as I was just going for a regular vacation. So you call the number, they will ask you where you're staying or where you are located. At this point for me, it was in Atlanta, and it was probably about 4 more days to my flight. So when I called them, they told me, hey, these are where we have current appointments for these particular days that were obviously before my travel date. So I ended up, they had New Orleans, they had El Paso, Texas, and it had Denver, Colorado. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. The passport agency in Atlanta was booked at the time. My friend that did it, he did it out of New Orleans, and he was able to get his passport. I said, okay, let me call you back. I was trying to find other ways to do it. By the time I called, the New Orleans appointment was actually booked, so I couldn't even book in New Orleans, so I had to book in Denver. So I bought, a same-day flight to Denver from Atlanta. So I left here at 6 a.m. Atlanta time, and my appointment in Denver was for 9:30 a.m. All I needed to take with me was my certificate of naturalization. So if you're already a citizen, if you were born here, your birth certificate would be adequate, and then your round trip ticket printed out, and then your passport application filled out online. So you go ahead and print both of those. You can actually fill out your passport application online. You don't need to print it because they'll have that record, but just to be sure, go ahead and print that, print out your round trip ticket. I flew over to Denver. Actually, my flight was delayed, so I actually missed my appointment time. My appointment time was supposed to be for 9:30, and I was worried, like, hey, I'm only here for a day. If I miss my appointment time, are they gonna let me in, since they were super strict about making an appointment over the phone? But I got there about 10 o'clock, about 30 minutes late for my appointment. The lady let me in. It was a line, stood in line, handed them my certificate of naturalization, or like I said earlier, you can hand them your birth certificate, handed them my round trip ticket, and then my 2 passport photos that I took at CVS. So obviously go take your passport photos before you go over there. And I had to pay like a rush fee of I think it was $225 and then $60, just because I needed my passport in a day. And for that particular price, I definitely think it was something that was worth it for me. It just depends on if you're waiting to wait that 3 months or not. So handed my passport out to the guy. He was just like, your passport will be ready in about 2 hours. Just go and come back. So I left, went to go get something to eat, chilled in Denver for a little bit, and came back. Went back to the passport agency, my passport ready. So I ended up receiving my passport in a day, flew back to Atlanta. The next day was my flight to Dominican Republic, used my passport, got there, everything went smoothly. And I was able to get it in one day. Like I said, it 100% works. I had another friend that does it. The only thing is like their passport agency in your state, the appointments might be booked up, so you might have to go to another state. But usually they're not as filled out because you got a 14-day lead window to actually get the passport. But that's it. And like I said, I was able to travel and everything worked out well. But appreciate y'all watching, and see y'all next time.